here. What should we do very quickly coming out of this, right? A lot of us make mistakes. Not everybody's had the benefit of having a financial advisor at their fingertips. You know, that's something that I've always been very keen on. I feel a financial advisor is so vitally important, especially if you have a small company. You know, we're not, and I say this as my clients have, the reason for this meeting as well is because I've had a lot of clients ask me, and my response to them has been, I'm not a financial advisor. You know, I'm an attorney. I can advise you according to what I know and what I specialize in and where my expertise lies. But if you want to know about finances, go to a financial advisor. You know, they're there to be able to predict the markets, to be able to give us good tips on how to move forward. So my question now is, a lot of companies, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of individuals may have made some mistakes, okay? And I mean, not everybody takes the advices or consults with a financial advisor. But going forward, what are some of the key elements, in your opinion, that we should be doing from now? So coming out of lockdown, what are some of, because I'm going to predict that there's going to be a long-term effect. Even once lockdown is over, there's going to be an effect going forward. So how do we prepare ourselves financially for uncertainty? Because the truth is, we just don't know. We could come out of this and there could be, you know, the economy could hopefully turn around and it could get better, but it could get a lot worse before it starts getting any better. So how do we prepare ourselves?
We need to expect that. I mean, we hope for the best, but we need to plan that things could get worse before they get better. Absolutely, Ayesha. Let me just try to separate your question a bit. Particularly if you're self-employed, example, you own a farm or a construction company or a chain of pharmacies, whatever. You've got to remember that your attorney and your accountant and your financial planner play different roles. So for instance, if somebody, like we spoke about your will, comes to you, Ayesha, and says, this is what I'd like to do with my estate and stuff like that. If they're not forthcoming about all their debts, etc., you know, their financials, you're not going to be able to. So if self-employed people, one bit of advice I could give is get your attorney, and you don't have to get the three to work together. It's as simple as asking for financials from your accountant. It's as simple as asking your planner for what is my financial plan. So you could just give that report to your attorney. So I think for self-employed people, try to work in tandem. Don't separate it. It impacts you legally. It impacts, if something happens to you, there's a legal impact, there's a financial impact, and you know, you've got to be compliant with the law, etc. So that is one bit of advice I would have for especially self-employed individuals. Then there's the risk cover. While lockdown has certain ramifications, what about the virus itself, as we spoke about? And do you have some sort of critical illness cover or dread disease or whatever you feel like calling it? But basically, you need to have some sort of a lump sum paid out to you if you had to have the virus itself or any sort of sickness. And that's particularly important, regardless if you're self-employed, because if you are sick, you know, like if you're an essential service provider, example, a physician, but you yourself are going to be quarantined, you know, entrepreneurs must ensure that the key person and the owners have insurance to ensure the continuation of income if something had to happen to you. And then the same applies to salaried individuals. Should you get a sickness, we hear of in the let's look at the coronavirus, some people are displaying lesser symptoms and some people it's actually becoming fatal. So you don't know what extent it's going to be, but if you are going to be away from your position where you're not going to be able to work, you're not going to be able to return to work, etc., you need some sort of a critical illness cover or dread disease cover. So that's quite important. You need income protection. We spoke about it. If you're paying towards UIF, yes, you can get that temporary relief. But there are benefits that are also quite tax efficient. But there are benefits that you can put in place that if your income had to stop, your business overheads at least could continue. So there are benefits in place. But I can't say what you should or shouldn't take, because every practice, every business, every individual has their own set of, needs.
Yeah.
But there definitely is,
Yeah.
if there's ever a time to look into it, review your portfolio, see what you have, what you don't have. Now's the time. I can't think of a better time.